organizers of this conference knew what we were doing at the Islamabad High Court. How important today's conference is for us. I felt as if this conference was arranged to assist the Islamabad High Court in its struggle or its endeavor. We are judges. We started with a very important information that came to us internationally, and that was the ratings done by the World Project, Justice Project. I went to my village and people there actually believed that the courts in Pakistan have been rated internationally to be 130th out of 138 countries. I heard analysts saying this. I heard the politicians saying this. But then we went back to the report. And the report was actually altogether different. There were 8 basic factors that were taken into consideration. And there were 44 other sub-factors, starting from the quality of legislation, accountability, the status of human rights in the society, the criminal justice system, resolution of disputes. But that document was very important. I have to confess that it is very painful, the human rights violations in Pakistan as a Chief Justice of a High Court. I have to admit that it is not appalling, but it is embarrassing. I'm not defending the judicial system. But the reality is that the judiciary, particularly the most important tier of the judiciary, that is the district judiciary, has never been a priority of the state. The High Court, the Supreme Court, where the citizens who are termed as ordinary citizens don't have access. It's too costly for them. But that most important tier is not a priority. So we went to the district courts in Islamabad. It's a planned city. There was a master plan prepared by a legendary Greek town planner. For the last 60 years, the Supreme Court building was first constructed, then work started on the High Court building, but the district courts were established in rented commercial buildings in shops. The conditions there were deplorable. They were inhuman. The existence of those district courts in the capital of Pakistan in itself was violation of human rights. The litigants were not a priority. That is from where the Islamabad High Court started. The first priority was to shift those district courts to a place, to a complex where the working conditions are at least in conformity with a decent environment. That was achieved with great difficulty. The bureaucratic hurdles, because that was not a priority. But simultaneously, what we realized was that the High Court building is also under construction. But what we realized was that the consultants had no idea. They only believed in planning designing the brick and mortar buildings. We asked them to take into account the technological tools and also to cater for that in the buildings. The government had no provision for that. But what we achieved was that the district courts complex would be completed within in the next 2 or 3 months. And technologically, we are trying our best to make all the courts e-courts and to provide all the available technological facilities that are available. But then we have been making efforts. Say, for instance, our High Court is probably the first High Court which uploads all its daily interim orders on its websites so that the litigants can simply download their orders from there rather than applying and, waiting for a certified copy. Likewise, during the COVID, Islamabad High Court was the first High Court which extended the facility of video linking to lawyers who were outside the country. And even from outside the country, they argued their cases. When we introduced the live streaming, now live streaming in my court is available and operational. But simultaneously, where technology has benefits, it also has certain challenges. We started receiving feedback from the litigants who did not want their disputes to go on the social media. There were matrimonial disputes. There were other factors, for instance, how to ensure fair trial. So these were challenges for which we have constituted a special committee. But again, what we understood was that yes, we want drastic reforms, as Mr. Kasuri said, that we have reached a stage that there has to be a movement. And as Justice Mansoor Ali Shah used the expression transformation, what we require is a movement and transformation. We live in the 21st century, but we have a legal system inherited from our colonial past. We have the Civil Procedure Code and the Criminal Procedure Code, which are outdated which were drafted by the English almost a century ago. But who was to do all this? We are judges. We have no expertise in technology. Technology and what we do as judges are worlds apart. We do not have expertise in institutional reforms. We are not experts of re-engineering or redesigning processes. We had been struggling. But then we found an answer from the Constitution. Article 7 of the Constitution defines the state. And in the same chapter are the fundamental rights and the principles of policy. Clause D of Article 37 makes an obligation of the state to ensure inexpensive and expeditious justice. The President of Pakistan has a constitutional obligation, and all the respective governors of the provinces, to review the progress on the principles of policy and submit their respective reports to the legislatures. The President to the Federal Majlis-e-Shura, while the governors to their respective provincial assemblies. And the state, as defined in Article 7, includes the federal government, the Majlis-e-Shura, and we invited the Planning Commission. It is very heartening to see that Malik Ahmed, who is the chairman of Public-Private Partnership, he's here, and the Planning Commission has appointed him as a focal person. So the first idea was to set up or create a platform for judicial reforms so that they are dealt with professionally. But it should be led by the state. We are one of the stakeholders. We don't have expertise in technology. It is the state which can hire those expertise, which can hire the consultants. And we told them that as things stand today, we want to start with a clean slate. And we will work together. And our vision is manifested in the title that we have given it. And the title is, because it was important for us that what do we want? It was reimagining the judicial system in the 21st century. Overhauling the judicial system so that justice is seen to be done. This was our vision for the government. And I must compliment the organization Someone spoke about alternate dispute resolution and mediation. Yes, that's most important. But more important is for the state to not only ensure that the dispute resolution is expeditious, there should also be effective prevention of disputes. I can refer to you certain judgments that we have authored in the Islamabad High Court. Reforms are not only required, it has to be an integrated movement. But we have already laid the foundation for that. We have created that forum. And I will invite all of you with all these bright ideas to come to that forum. Let us bring a change. It is the user of our system, our judicial system, who must be satisfied. The user rightly is not satisfied. Because for the user, it's a very elitist society, and I'll be honest about that. Why should only the Supreme Court and the High Court be in focus? The district judiciary should be in focus. So it also requires changing of mindsets. Technology, there is no other option than to change ourselves, to reimagine the judicial system in the 21st century. Societies which do not have effective dispute resolution mechanisms, those societies end up in chaos. So, at the Islamabad High Court, we have already taken this initiative. We have created that forum. But we need everyone's help, everyone's assistance, everyone's cooperation. And anyone who's interested with the ideas, I would suggest to contact the focal person who is the chairman of the Public-Private Partnership Authority. We also we had a very, very useful meeting with them. And in the course of meeting, we suggested to them that probably one of the most significant project for them to consider would be a public-private partnership in mediation and alternate dispute resolution field. So it's a start, and I'm grateful to the organizers of this conference that they arranged it, and the young professionals had brilliant ideas, but those ideas have to be given effect. And the forum has already been created and set up. As a Chief Justice, I can tell you, even this is a very, very elitist gathering. I wish today's or some other such gathering is held in the Adiala prison. to see how people are suffering, to see, because at least I witness that and I experience it every day. I don't want to say it again, but I have to confess that there has to be a change in mindsets. This elitism is the major cause of grave human rights violations. This elitism has to come to an end. The Constitution, the fundamental rights in the Constitution have to be given respect. And that is what will bring the change. As far as Islamabad High Court is concerned, I, on behalf of the Islamabad High Court, invite all of you to come and join us on the forum, which is, we would also want all of you to reimagine the judicial system in the 21st century. Let the technology bring that transformation, and let us all put our hands together to bring the miseries and grave injustices happening in this society to an end. Thank you very much.